Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Kay and over here we do beauty related videos, be that tutorials, reviews, comparisons, hair videos, or anything you choose down in the comments. And if that sounds like something you are interested in, please be sure to subscribe. We are on the road to 2k and I would love for you to join me on this journey. We just hit 1k and now we're on the road to 2k. I actually love you guys are the best, and I'm so glad that the family is growing and growing and growing. I don't know, this is like a crazy amount of growth to me because I wasn't anticipating it, but I'm very happy to have each and every one of you. But let's get into today's video. So today's video is a battle of concealers, and this is a concealer battle that I've been wanting to do ever since they came out. So we're going to be comparing the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer versus the Nyx Born To Glow Concealer. So these concealers, this is an OG and this is a new product. Well, not that new, but it's been out for a couple of months, whereas this has been everyone's favorite on YouTube for years and years. So basically when the foundations came out, everyone was saying that they were dupes. So when the concealers came out, I really wanted to know if they were very similar and if this was a cheap alternative. So very recently I acquired both and I have them in a couple of shades, but I have these two shades too, and they're both in the shade Caramel, and they're very similar actually. So I'm going to be testing them out today and showing you the difference. But before we get into it, I would love for you to guess which side is which and vote for which one you think is your favorite down in the comments. So let's get right into it. So I'm going to be comparing them based on size, price, shade range, blendability. I'm going to be comparing a lot of things, so let's just get right into it. Alright guys, so we're going to start with a fresh face and we're just going to prime, put foundation on, and then get into the concealers. So I'm just going to prime with the Milk Hydro Grip. Let me just clip my hair out of the way. Okay, so I'm neither going to use my NYX Cappuccino nor my Nars Macao. I'm just going to go into the Fenty because I don't want to have any partiality on either side. So I'm just going to go into the Fenty foundation in the shade 420. So you'll notice that I did not color correct, and that's because that's not something I do on a regular basis, and also coverage is one of the things we're going to be testing out with these concealers. So let's get right into that. So I have both concealers in the shade Caramel and I'm going to swatch them on the back of my hand just to show you what they look like. So this is the NYX concealer and this is the Nars concealer. As you can see, the NYX is a bit on the yellow side, whereas Nars is a bit more neutral. But they're very similar in tone and they're both called Caramel. So I'm going to put NYX on this side, I'm going to put Nars on this side. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest fan of the applicator on the Nars because it's so tiny, and I've gotten used to the bigger ones from like Revolution and nowadays all the ones on these things are usually massive. So I don't know, I'm not really loving the tiny applicator. So I'm gonna start with the NYX side. Pretty good coverage, I'm not gonna lie. And then I'm turning my sponge over and doing the Nars side. Okay, so far I'm not going to lie, the Nars seems to have a lot more coverage. I was not expecting that. I'm just going to use whatever side of the sponge to blend out the rest because the main test is underneath the eyes. So they both blended out really nicely and easily. I'll say the NYX one is a little bit, no, the Nars one is a little bit thicker in consistency and it has a little bit more coverage. However, I really do like the finish of both of them. It seems like the NYX one is a little bit more radiant than the Nars one. Interesting. And now to set, I'm going to be using the Laura Mercier because it has no colour, so it's not going to aid in pigment, if that makes any sense. It's not going to add more coverage. So they both took to the powder really well. I'm not seeing any creasing underneath each eye. So I'm just going to zoom in just so you can see it a bit clearer. To me, they both look pretty good. This one does look a tiny bit brighter, but I think they both look quite good. So I'm just going to go off camera and finish off the rest of my makeup. Ooh. So yeah, I'm just going to go off camera and finish off the rest of my makeup, and I'll be right back to give you some more thoughts and deliberations. So I'm back and my full face is done, and after all that is said and done, you can barely tell a difference between this side and this side. But to be very honest, if we're talking coverage, this side does win. I'm actually surprised, I'm shocked. I don't know what I expected from this concealer, but I guess because I used this concealer a couple of times, I was pretty happy with it. I thought that it would be a contender when it comes to coverage, but this coverage is higher. But now let's talk about other aspects of the concealer, because at the end of the day you can layer this concealer up to get this coverage because they're both quite buildable. So let's talk specs. So the NYX concealer has 5.3 milliliters while the Nars concealer has 6 milliliters. So they're both pretty much around the same size. You get 0.7 milliliters more in this, which is practically nothing. And if we're talking about packaging, this one comes with a wand and this one comes with a sponge tip applicator. And to be honest, I kind of prefer the sponge tip applicator, if I'm honest. I just feel like you get the product out and on easier. And some people say it's not sanitary, but if you're using it, I feel like there's so many things that we use on our face like that. And I just prefer this one, honestly, when it comes to applicators, because this one I feel like I have to keep dipping in to get the product out. And who knows, maybe I put a bit more product on this side, maybe that's why this side is a bit more on the flawless side. But like, even looking into the viewfinder, sorry I keep looking there, but I'm just trying to see the difference. But even looking into the viewfinder, this coverage is insane. I'm shook. So I've had these, I got both of these quite recently, so that's why I wasn't really sure what to expect from the concealers, and they have like very similar claims, but when it comes to size, they are like near enough the same size. So now let's talk about price. This is £24 and this is £9. So you could get 2.5 of these for the price of this. So yeah, it is understandable why this one does not have the same amount of coverage as this one. I mean, you're paying an arm and a leg for this, so if it didn't have more coverage, I would fight. I would fight. But yeah, they're both buildable, but this one is doing things for my under eye, because I have dark under eyes. You saw me, I have dark under eyes, and the fact that this is just making me look so bright and awake, I'm falling in love. But this still has my heart. I'm a drugstore, I keep saying that, I'm a drugstore babe, and I'm trying not to go to the dark side, but the dark side is calling me, saying come spend your coins. So next thing, shade range. When it comes to the shade range, the NYX has 24 concealers while the Nars has 30 shades. But to be honest, I feel like the NYX has a better range when it comes to darker shades, whereas Nars has only a few. For me personally, I feel like Nars does not have as much dark shades as I would like. So I may do a wear test on them, but I have worn both of them for a long amount of time, and I don't think they change much over time. They do pretty much stay in place. Like, I don't know, I don't think there's much need for a wear test of a concealer. I mean, any creases that are gonna happen have happened already. I have pretty creasy under eyes, so I don't think there's any concealer that can really diminish my creases completely. I feel like, I'm gonna zoom you in a little bit. So like under this eye, I have less creases than under this eye, but they're both pretty much the same when it comes to creases. I don't know if you can tell the coverage. I'm gonna try and turn down my brightness so you can see the difference. So I don't know if that helps anything, but I feel like you can definitely see that this has more coverage in this side. So now for my final thoughts on the concealers and which one I recommend. So if you're on a budget, I definitely recommend you go with the NYX, and especially if you're not much of a full coverage kind of babe, if you just want something to brighten up your under eyes and you're a more natural makeup kind of girl, I would go for the NYX because it's really creamy, really hydrating. It has good coverage. It just doesn't have, like, you know, a powerhouse of coverage that this has. And if you are a coverage, like, if, you know, concealing your under eyes is like really important to you, I would say just go and color correct. When I do my normal routine of color correcting and also using a colored setting powder, this looks flawless on me. And even like right now, if I didn't have anything to compare this to, it still looks quite flawless. So I would definitely still recommend the NYX, because the Nars is £24 for 6 milliliters of product, and even the container that it comes in is going to be very difficult to get for you to get every single bit of the product out. But yeah, all in all, I enjoyed filming this video for you. This comparison has been on my mind for the longest of time, so I'm happy that I finally got to do it. So if you like this video, you found this video helpful, and you want me to do more comparisons, you can always leave some you're welcome to leave suggestions for me in the comment box down below. I love to see suggestions. So that's it for today's video. Please be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe, and I would love to see you in the next one.